na No Limit Tangere ay about sa mga friars na napang-aapi or pinagpeperahan nila ang mga Pilipino sa atin para kumita sila. So meron din sinabi dito sa according to their teachings will not have mercy on us if we do not give money. Pag hindi ka magbibigyan ng salapi ay hindi ka bibigyan o patatawarin ganun. Tapos merong ginawa si Padre Jose Rodriguez ng dalawang booklets which is translated into Tagalog and isa sa Spanish. At kapag ating itong babasahin, malalaman talaga natin na si Dr. Jose Rizal ay kinaiinggitan niya. So the goal of this essay is to persuade and demand change from the revealed truth in our social situations that we present. It can be seen that at the end of this essay, Marcelo del Pilar told us to emulate those walking on the other side. There is an important destination that even if the dog is barking, it will continue. The walk is not paying attention to the noise of the barn. The essay also wants to inform us that we can learn to take a stand and continue, and he will not fall. We must be strong and continue what we will fight for is right. So anong sinasabi dito ni Marcelo H. Del Pilar? Ang goal niya dito sa essay na ito is para mamulat ang sambayan ng Pilipino sa paghihirap ng mga friars kasi pinagpeperahan lamang nila ang mga Pilipino. Kasi yung one example is yung kapag magpapabinyag, paminsan kailangan pa magbenta ng mga property nila kasi mahal talaga. So the next is number 3. Dito na si Marcelo. Sa ala ng tuksohan. Back muna. Ay. Loads. Back. Yan. Ayan, yun na. Alit. Yan. So dito na si Marcelo Estel Pilar sa dasalan at tuksawan. So this is the significant, ayun na po. Yan. This is the significant anecdote that happened to Marcelo H. Del Pilar. So isa tong nakakatawang pangyayari sa nangyari sa buhay ni Marcelo H. Del Pilar. So Marcelo H. Del Pilar were sent to prisons after questioning the excessive baptismal fee in the certain parish. Parang pinagtatawa niya na ito kasi nagtanong lamang siya sa mga Spanya na bakit mahal talaga yung bayad ng pagbibibinyag. Pwede namang barato lang naman yan. Unlike nowadays, barato lang, depende lang sa atin kapag gusto natin, ibongga talaga. Was deported due to allegations of being one of the organizers of the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Yung bunso niyang kapatid ay nakulong din of being accused of organization of isa siya sa organization sa mutiny na naglaban para sa kalayaan ng. So number 3 sa anti-fire activities. Ito na yung this is the propaganda movement's anti-fire because its members felt that the friars in the Philippines exercised too much power. They felt that the power of the monastic order was used for the benefit of those others are not for the benefit of the people. So bali, yung nakikinabang dito is mga friar, yung mga pari, mga priest, sila lang yung nakikinabang dito. Imbes sa parang tulong para sa mga taong Pilipino, ay parang sila lang yung nakikinabang. Okay. Next na po. Next. Next po. Right. Yung sa amahin namin po. Back. Yan na. Yan na po. Yan. If you read this is the one examples of contents in the form of catechism. So meron tayong marang amahin namin, wala. Meron tayong amahin namin, yung example niya. Tapos meron din tayong mga glory be, yung mga example niya. Mautos lang tayo rin. Okay lang. So this also ang mga pag meron tayo are not allowed to die without money for the funeral. So, minsan kailangan mo pang mangutang para makalibing ka. Number 6, huwag kang makiapid sa kanyang asawa, huwag kang makinakaw, huwag mo silang pagbibintangan kahit na makasinungalingan, huwag mong ipagkait ang iyong asawa, huwag mong isagot ang iyong huwag mong itanggi ang iyong ari. So, ito ang 10 utos ng praile. At dalawa
Walang sound.
Next week po. Nawala po ang reporter.
Graciano na?
Wala pa po. Si Marcelo pa. Nawala po yung reporter.
Hello? Kanina yan? Sino na?
Si Krem pa po.
Ah,
Nawala po yung reporter, guys. Pwede po ba i-post?
hindi pwede i-post. Hindi pwede i-post eh. Tuloy-tuloy yung record. Ano na? Sino sunod kay Krem? I-ano na natin yun. Sunod na muna kay Krem. Yun na muna ang magtutuloy ng report. Sunod kay Krem.
Ako yung sunod
Sige.
Opo, ikaw na, Winelyn. Ikaw na muna Ikaw na next. Tuloy mo na yun sa'yo.
Sige. Start ko na.
Sige.
So, Graciano Lopez na wait. Graciano Lopez Hena, born in December 18, 1856 at Jaro, Iloilo, Camtasi, General of the Philippines Spanish Empire. Died January 20, 1896 at the age of 39. Hena died of tuberculosis on January 20, 1896 in Barcelona, 11 months short of his 40th birthday. The following day, he was buried in a mass grave at the Montjuic ceremony of Barcelona. He died in puberty and his remains has not been brought back to the Philippines. So, Graciano Lopez Hena, commonly known as, was a Filipino journalist, liit, orator, reformist, and national hero who is well known for his newspaper La Soledad Philippine. Historians regard Lopez Hena along with Marcelo H. Del Pilar and Jose Rizal as the triumvirate of Filipino propagandists. Next, bye. So, here's the book. This is the books. Ito yung books na sinulat ni Graciano. Una yung ang Frayed Button or Fire Button. This novel or because wait lang. Sinulat ito ni Graciano kasi naging aware siya sa mga he became aware of the unjust social dilemma and corrupted religious power of the prior during the Spanish colonial era. So as a result, Graciano Lopez Hena created Fray Botot at the young age of 18. The story of Fray Botot by Graciano Lopez Hena portrayed as early priest from the colonial era of the Philippines as a greedy, corrupt, hypocrite, gluttonous, and lustful. As a form of propaganda and protestation, his work aimed to expose this horrendous characteristic of this abusive priest. Fray Botod means big bellied prayer, pertaining to the nickname of the main character in the story. So the next is La Hija del Fraile, the child of the fair, and everything is humbug, everything is mere show. So this article denounced the mismanagement of the Spanish government and the wrong education system. Graciano Lopez Hena wrote La Hija del Fraile to criticize the lewd acts of the Spanish friars. He did this to show how the Spaniards treated the Filipino through a story discussing the marriage of a Spaniard friar. And this novel described the tragic situation of a Filipino if they married a Spaniard. Next, sa mga Pilipinong 1891. This speech aimed at improving the condition of Filipinos are free, prosperous, and able to defend and enjoy their rights. So, sinulat ito ni Graciano Lopez para bigyan o ipakita sa mga tao na may karapatan sila na gawin ang kanilang may mga karapatan sila kung ano man yung mga gusto nilang gawin. Next, talumpating pagunita kay Columbus o an oration to commemorate Columbus. Wait. So, talumpating pagunita kay Columbus or an oration to commemorate Columbus. Ito yung speech na delivered in Madrid on the 39th anniversary of discovery ng Amerika. Next. En honor del Presidente Moraita de la Association Hispano-Filipino, 1884.
I have surprise for you. Come on, Evo. What color?
This was Graciano Lopez Hena, Praise General.
What color? Oh?
Moraita for his equal treatment of those he leads, those he lead. Next is en honor de los artistas Lunay Resurrection Hidalgo. This is a sincere expression of praise for the paintings of Hidalgo on the condition of Filipinos under the Spaniards. And Amor a España o a las jóvenes de Malolos, or in English, Love for Spain or the Youth of Malolos. This piece was written by Graciano Lopezena. This piece means the love for the Spain or the youth of Malolos. It is about how girls were taught Spanish in school and whose teacher were their governors general at the same time. El, Bande, El Bandeloresmo and Filipinas, or in English, Banderity in the Philippines. Heina, this was Heina refused the existence of bandanity in the Philippines and of how there should be laws on robbery and other forms. Honor and Filipinas. This is the triumphant exposition of Luna, Resurrection, and Pardo de Tavera of the thesis that intellect or knowledge gives honors to the Philippines. And pag-alis ng buwis sa Pilipinas.
Guys, yun na guys. Tuloy-tuloy tayo guys para hindi matagal.
Okay, ako na.
Next.
Okay. I'm your next reporter, Bryan Atilano. So I will discuss to you about Antonio Luna. Antonio Luna was a pharmacist who was banished by the Spaniard to Spain. He joined the propaganda movement and contributed his writings to La Solidaridad. Most of his works dealt with Filipino customs and other were accusations about the Spaniards ran the government. His pen name was Tagailog. He died at the age of 33 in June 1899. He was put to death by the soldiers of Aguinaldo because of his instant rise to fame, which became a threat to Aguinaldo. So, way back tayo, paano nga ba naging hero si Antonio Luna? So, after his release from prison, he studied tactics. So, from the word tactics po, naging strategy na niya po yung pag-aaral during his military time. Way back in the year 1898 during Philippine-American War. So Aguinaldo made Luna a general because of his bravery. So naging known talaga siya during his time dahil sa pagiging matapang niya. So Luna named Director of War on September 26, 1898. So ito na yung time niya. So ano nga ba pinaglalaban ni Antonio Luna?
Yeah.
He was fighting for the Philippine independence from the US. So pinaglalaban niya yung karapatan ng mga Pilipino. So yung sinasabi dito, La Solidaridad,
kilala bilang dakilang
ito yung
dakilang parat.
In English, the Solidarity. It is an organization created in Spain way back in 1888 in December 13th. Yung ano nila o yung purpose talaga nila is to social, cultural and economic conditions binabantayan talaga nila or yun talaga yung pinaglalaban ng La Solidaridad group of people na nag-create doon sa Spain to fight the colonial Philippines. So, ano nga ba yung sa tingin natin naging successful nga ba yung paglaban nila ng Solidaridad or nag-fail? So based on my research, nag-fail siya kasi during his time na pinaglalaban niya yung
The latter
yung
so
karapatan
mabini.
niya,
Captured
yung
and
propaganda
shared.
movements, hindi
The
po siya
latter so mabini.
nag-succeed. Kasi nga po, nung time na sinubmit niya yung parang, let's say, memorandum or yung papers na para aprobahan ng Spain, so hindi siya na-approve kasi during that time marami talagang na-encounter or marami talagang problema ang Spain, kaya hindi siya na-aprobahan. So that time nag-failed na yung ano niya, yung pag ano niya, yung ano ba to? I mean yung plano niya talaga para sa country natin. So may mga books and writings siya or some of the writings na ginawa niya, yung pinaglalaban niya. Ito yung Noche Buena or yung Christmas Eve. So ginawa niya to, pinaglalaban niya to kasi ito lang yung literary peace picture or true picture na pinapakita na ikaw ay tunay na Pilipino. So next is se divierten or in English, how they diverted themselves. So ibig sabihin nito, a dig at a dance. So ito yung pinapakita nila sayaw na nagpapa-insulto sa mga Espanyol or sa mga Spaniards where their people are very crowded. So ito yung ginawa nila na parang para maano lang nila yung mga Spain na para ipa-insultuhin lang yung mga Espanyol. So pang third is the La Tertulia Filipina or in English, a Filipino Conference of Peace. So ito naman yung depicts of a Filipino custom which he believes was much better than Spain or Spanish. So pinoportray nila yung kultura ng mga Pilipino sa Spanish. Then next is the Por Madrid or in English for Madrid. Yes. It is a denouncement of Spaniards who claim that the Philippines is a colony of Spain but who think of Filipinos as foreigners when it comes to collecting taxes for stamps. So, ang gusto kasi nila is lahat ng mga taxes na kinokolekta nila is ma-undergo sa Spain. So which is pinaglalaban ni Antonio Luna na hindi na dapat i-undergo yung lahat ng mga taxes sa mismong Spain talaga. Dapat meron din tayo yung privacy or parang ano siya ang tawag dito, freedom, yung freedom. Then next is the La Casa de Hupedes or in English, the landlady house. So it means this means that Depix is a landlady who looks for borders not for money, but in order to get a husband for her child. So, yun po, ito po yung mga writings na sinulat niya or pinaglalaban niya during his time. So, next reporter, Jeralden Bezar about Mariano Ponce.
Mariano Ponce. Mariano Ponce became an editor-in-chief, biographer, and researcher of the propaganda movement. The common themes of his works were the value of education. He also wrote about how the Filipino were oppressed by the foreigners. Mariano Ponce was a Filipino physician, writer, and active member of the propaganda movement. In Spain, he was among the founders of La Solidaridad and Association Hispano-Filipino. So si Mariano Ponce his sacrifice was very great because at the very young age, he did not stop studying. He synchronized studying and helping the Filipino people. He is not very well known because he is very humble. So si Mariano Ponce ay kabilang sa propaganda movement na nakasama nila ni Dr. Cirsal at Del Pilar. Si Mariano Ponce ay isang mapagpakumbaba na tao. Kasi hindi na niya iniisip ang kanyang sarili, mas inuuna pa niya palagi ang mamayang Pilipino. Sinabay niya ang pag-aaral sa ibang bansa at pagsisilbi sa bayan sa pamamagitan ng pagsulat patungkol sa pag-aalila at pag-aalipin ng mga Pinoy sa mga Kastila. Next slide. So, ito po ang Ito po ang books and writings ni Mariano Ponce. Mga alamat ng Bulacan or Legend of Bulacan. So ito po ang contents, legends, and folklores of his native town. Second, pagtugot sa Longinos or the beheading of Longinos. So a play shown at the Plaza Malolos, Bulacan. Third, sobre Filipinos or about the Filipinos. For example po, ito po ang mga Pilipino or mga cultural. Last is ang mga Pilipino sa Indocina or the Filipinos in the China. Napunta si Ponce sa Indocina. It's about the Filipino soldiers live in Indonesia. Mariano Ponce was shocked that these soldiers did not forget their own language or culture, even though they had not returned to their homeland and had married local women for a long time. Next po.
Next report, Pedro Paterno.
Pedro Paterno. Pedro Paterno. Pedro Paterno was a scholar, dramatic researcher, and novelist of the propaganda movement. Pedro Alejandro Paterno Guevara Ignacio was a Philippine politician and famous for being a thorn-tooth. He was also a poet and a novelist. His interventions on behalf of the Spanish led to signing of the Pact of Biak-na-Bato on December 14, 1897, an account of which was published in 1910. So, si Pedro Paterno, he leaving behind considerable health. Paterno was one of the greatest balimbing in history. He was first on the Spanish side then when the Declaration of Independence was made in 1898. To worm his way to power, and because President of the Malolos Congress in 1899, the sensing the change in political winds after the establishment of the American colonial government, he became a member of the First Philippine Assembly. So si Pedro Paterno ang kauna-unahang tinaguri ang balimbing ng Pilipinas dahil siya ay nagpapalit ng panig sa sandaling siya ay madihado. So books and writings. First is Ninay, the first social novel in Spanish by a Filipino. Second is Madre or To My Mother. It shows the importance of mother, especially in the home. And the last is Sampaguita, Why Pushat Varias or Sampaguitas and Varied Poems. A collection of his poems. So the next is Eugene.
Hi guys, my name is Eugene Catequista. Jose Mapanginiban, hid his identity behind his pen name Jormapa. He was also known for having photographic mind. He was a member of number of movements for the country. Jose Mapanginiban. Imbarga was a Filipino propagandist, linguist, and essayist. He is one of the main writers and contributors for La Solidaridad, writing under the pen names Jomapa and JMP. Next, Bri. Book writing. Ang lupang tinubunan, my native land, ang aking buhay, my life. So plano de estudio, your study plan. El pensamiento, the thinking. active revolution. The
No,
Filipinos
tira na
did,
lang.
did not get the reform
Start, di ba?
demanded
Nag-ano?
for the propagandists.
Yung kanina.
The government turned deaf ears to this petition. Oppression continued in the church and the government became even more expressive to the Filipino. Good intention of Spain were reversed by the peers who were lording it over in the Philippines. Next.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. I'm Andrie Batara, the next reporter. My topic is Andres Bonifacio. Andres Bonifacio is best known as the father of Filipino democracy, but more than other as the father of Katipunan, because he led in establishing the katastaasan, kagalang-galangan, katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, or also known as KKK. Andres Bonifacio E. de Castro was a Filipino revolutionary leader, often called the father of the Philippine Revolution, and considered one of the national heroes of the Philippines. Next, please. This is some of his works. One, ang dapat mabatid ng mga Tagalog, or in English, what the Tagalog should know. Number 2, katungkulang gagawin ng mga anak ng bayan, or in English, obligations of our countrymen. This is an outline of obligations just like the 10 Commandments of God. 3. Pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa, or in English, love of one's native land. A poem with a title similar to that of Marcelo H. Del Pilar. 4. Huling paalam, the last farewell. A translation of Mi Ultimo Adios of Rizal in Tagalog. Next, please. Emilio Jacinto. Emilio Jacinto was the intelligent assistant of Andres Bonifacio in the establishment of Katipunan. He is called the brain of Katipunan. Emilio Jacinto E. Dizon was a Filipino general during the Philippine Revolution. He was one of the highest ranking officer in the Philippine Revolution and was one of the highest ranking officer of the Revolutionary Society, katastaasan, kagalang-galangan na katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan, or simply and more popular called Katipunan, being a member of Supreme Council. And Emilio Jacinto was considered one of the greatest military genius during his time. Emilio was only 19 when he joined the Katipunan, and he became the brain of Katipunan. Brain of Katipunan when it comes to military matters. It contained the constitution and bylaws of Katipunan. Reading books was one of Emilio's greatest passion. Here are the few of his writings. Next, please. Kartilya ng Katipunan, or a premier book of Katipunan. The Kartilya was about the 13 lessons that served as the Katipunero's guide in living with morals and good values. I believe that this Kartilya and Katipunan shows the path on how to live meaningful life of every Filipino. 2. Liwanag at dilim, or in English, light and darkness. is a collection of essays on different subjects like freedom, work, faith, government, love of country. 3. A Mi Madre or To My Mother is a touching ode to his mother. 4. A La Patria or To My Country. This is the the first line of example of first line of La Patria. Hail, O my native country, more than aught I adore thee, whom with so many treasures lavish
All
nature
these
has blessed. Eden where
revolutionary and
flowers more than fragrant bloom than in other gardens, where with more beautiful colors rising
revolutionary and
the dawn
governmental activities despite
paints
having
the
lost
heavens,
the use of
and where the
both his
poet
legs
interpreted sees what
to
he
Polio.
elsewhere dreamed.
Shortly before the Philippine Revolution,
That's all.
1896.
It's 40.
Apolinario Mabini is known in literature and history as the sublime paralytic and the brain of the revolution. His contribute to the literature were writing on government, society, philosophy, and politics. Apolinario Mabini Maranan was a Filipino revolutionary leader, educator, lawyer, and statesman who served first as a legal and constitutional advisor to the revolutionary government, and then as the first Prime Minister of the Philippines upon the establishment of the First Philippine Republic. Mabini performed all his revolutionary and governmental activities despite having lost the use of both his legs to the polio. Sakit niya, may sakit kasi siyang polio, which is di siya makalakad. Shortly before the Philippine Revolution of 1896, Mabini's role in the Philippine history saw him confronting first Spanish colonial rule in the opening days of the Philippine Revolution, and then American colonial rule in the days of the Philippine-American War. The latter saw Mabini captured and exiled to Guam by American colonial authorities, allowed to return only 2 months before his eventual death in May 1903. Next page. Books writing El Verdadero del Decalogo, The True Decalogue or Ten Commandments. El Desarrollo y Caída de la República, The Rise and Fall of the Philippine Republic, Sabayang Pilipino to the Filipino Nation, Payag News. So, two of his works, El Verdadero Decalogo, The True Decalogue, June 24, 1898, and Programa Constitucional de la República Filipina, the constitutional program of the Philippine Republic 1898, became instrumental in drafting of what would eventually known as the Malolos Constitution. Next page. Next reporter.
So, Jose Palma. Tama na. Jose Palma
Kaya na yan,
became a...
kay Amiril.
Tama ba?
Andyan sa Amiril. Kay Amiril yan.
Andyan. Okay na. Okay. Andyan ba siya? Okay na, good.
Ato po, sir. And then, kasi Palma po pala. Filipino poet soldier. Tama na. Jose Palma, Filipino poet soldier. He has top of Individual Time of Pilipinas. Pointed it was published for first time issue. First anniversary de Independencia on September 3. Jose Palma, kilala ng halos lahat ng Pilipino bilang taong sumulat ng likirong pambansang awit, which is
lupang hinirang ng Pilipinas. Lingkid ng karamihan ng ibang detalye sa buhay ni Jose Palma, hindi lamang siya ay isang dakilang manunulat, kundi naging aktwal na kasapi rin ng sandatang lakas ng lipunan. Si Jose Palma Velasquez ay tubong Tondo, Manila. Pinanganak siya noong Hulyo 3, 1876 sa mag-asawang Don Hermogenes Palma at Hilaris Velasquez. Ang kapatid niyang si Rafael ay naging pang-apat na pangulo ng Universidad ng Pilipinas. Una siyang nag-aral sa Tondong at lumipat sa Ateneo Municipal, Ateneo de Manila University. Habang naroon ay hinimas niya ang kanyang galing sa paggawa ng mga taludtod. Isa siya sa mga unang niyakda ng La Cruz de Sampaguitas na 1893. Nagkaroon siya ng relasyon sa isang babaeng nangangalang Florentina Alelano. Naging maikli lamang ang relasyon ito dahil tungong mga magulang ng babae. Tuto lang mga magulang ng babae. Hindi siya natapos sa kanyang pag-aaral dahil sumapi siya sa katipunan noong 1994. Nakakit siya ng kisig ni General Giorgos de Pilar sa pakikipagdigma. Hindi siya sumali sa mga labanan nung unang bahagi ng revolusyon noong 1896 noong 1899. Lamang siya ay aktwal na nagsilbi na bilang sundalo na pamuno ni Coronel Severino Aquino, lolo ni Bigno Nonoy Aquino Jr. sa mga laban kontra Amerika sa mga bayan ng Angas at Bambang. Dahil hindi niya kaya ng kanyang katawan ng hirap at dulot ng bakbakan, madalas siyang naiiwan sa kampo. Dito ay inilinaw niya na kung di man ang kasundulan sumapi sa opisyal na pahayag ng mga revolusyon ng La Independencia, nasulat siya ng Tagalog seksyon ng pahayagan. Dito ay inatake niya ang mga Amerikano sa mga pangadi niya magawa sa aktwal na laban. Madalas inilaw ni Palma na kanyang mga kasamaan sa pahayagan ng kanilang mga sarili, mga tula at kanta. Ginawa nila ito oras ng mga pahinga o kaya mga marcha palayo sa mga tumutugis na Amerikano. Sa bahay ni Donna Romanda G. Vea de Vadis sa Bautista, Pangasinan, isinulat ni Jose Palma ang Pilipina, which is pambansang awit ng Pilipinas, lupang hinirang. Dahil likas na mahilig maglapat ng sariling titik na sikat at tugtungin ng kanyang panahon na hindi niya naging taka-taka ng kanyang mga Pilipinas, akdang Pilipinas, ay nilipat ng taong Marcha Nacional Filipina ni Juan Felipe ng hinat ng isang taong nakalipas. Noong 1899, tuluyan nibihagi ng mga Amerikano ang pahayag ni Pulusan, bumalik siya ng kapatid ni Rafael sa Maynila. Doon ay kunsyaba nila si Joan Abad. Para bumuo ng pahayag, tinawag nila itong Laong Laan. Hindi napansin ng mga Amerikanong nagdulot ito ng maikling pagkakakulong ni Palma, September 3, 1901. Itinag ni El Remendimiento ng pagpapatungo ni Rafael Palma. Inimbita ni Jose na nagsulat ng komunikal, bahagi isulat nito ang kaniyang Manila La. Sa sagingang ng Buenos Sinteala saging Jose. Ilan pa ginamit niyang saging sang awa, anahaw at ganghantik para sa mga tula. Maikling tulad ng Comensyo, La Moda Filipina, La Patria, La Union at La Vista Colosia. Noong Pebrero 12, 1903, sa edad ni 27, si Jose Palma ay namatay sa sakit ng tuberculosis. Bilang pagbibigay ng karalang sa kanya, inalatad niyang kanyang kapatid na si Manuel at Rafael Palma at kakabing si Cecilio Apostol ang isang koleo ng kanyang mga tula mula sa 1983 hanggang 1903 noong 1912. Pinahagi nila itong Melancosca. Yun lang, sir.
na po, Amiril. Okay.
Tapos na?
Yes, pantas